So hey y'all, I'm back with another video. So tonight's video is yet again another Chioma Chats video podcast edition, and I am recording live from Imo State, Nigeria. So by the title, we're going to be talking about Kiki Palmer announcing her pregnancy and how people reacted to it. I feel like the discourse behind this story was very distinct for Kiki, as a lot of people were caught off guard. Kiki Palmer is an actress, singer, and overall entertainer. She's acted in movies such as Nope most recently, and most people know her from her debut movie, Akilah and the Bee. Kiki announced her pregnancy on Saturday Night Live this past week, and like I said, the internet definitely went crazy. So Kiki was hosting SNL, and she decided to use this chance to reveal that she is expecting a baby. Kiki is 29 years old. She has a very impressive career in Hollywood, and I've said in past videos, I love Kiki Palmer. Take a look at her reveal.
There's some rumors going around. People have been in my comments saying Kiki's having a baby, Kiki's pregnant, and I want to set the record straight. I am.
So this reveal did stir up conversations on social media. I saw a lot of support for Kiki as well as a lot of backlash for her as well. On one hand, people were saying that Kiki Palmer is promoting Black single motherhood, and there were even questions about the paternity of her child. People were assuming that Kiki was just pregnant by a random. Now, to that I say, people just need to do a little bit of research before they speak. I mean, Kiki has had a boyfriend, and although they kept their relationship pretty private, I think most of us who kind of keep up with Kiki, even just a little bit, knew she was in a relationship. Her boyfriend's name is Darius Jackson. He is the little brother of Sarunas Jackson, who acts in the show Insecure on HBO. Sarunas was also in the show Games People Play on BET. Y'all know the super tall, fine zaddy actor? Yeah, Kiki's boyfriend is his little brother. Darius is a fitness trainer, and they have been together since May of 2021. On the other hand, people are, I guess, defending Kiki and calling out people for being quote-unquote morality police and insinuating that in 2022, people should be more accepting to women having a baby in less traditional formats. I thought this was super interesting. I'm going to try to speak on both sides. So I've broken this video down into one overall main talking point. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So my one and overall point is being a Black baby mama. So let's start with discussing the conversational backlash that Kiki received. There were those who said that Kiki Palmer and her situation shouldn't warrant some type of negative backlash that it got. Some people say she's promoting being an unmarried Black mother, and others say that it shouldn't matter what comes of Kiki Palmer's situation. I was on Instagram when I read most of the responses to this, and everything was pretty mixed in the responses. I did, however, come across a post from Essence Magazine talking about Kiki Palmer's pregnancy. So referencing the article from Essence Magazine, the title is, "Yes, Kiki Palmer is pregnant and unmarried. Get over it. Black women's bodies are constantly policed, even at the most delicate time of their lives." So before I read the article, I don't think that this whole thing is about policing a Black woman's body at all. I think whether the example is Kiki Palmer, Rihanna, Zanique Pullins, Angela Simmons, or even any of the brigade of rapper baby mamas, this is simply a matter of perception, stereotypes, and emotional, psychological, financial, and developmental security for Black children. I think that that's most people's concern versus anything else. However, let's read the article. It says, for the most part, public response to Palmer's announcement has been positive, and it's been beautiful to watch her bask in the post-announcement glow. But hang around on social media long enough and you'll find out that any good or wholesome news is usually swiftly followed by negativity. And this time, the trolls made Palmer's marital status their target. If unwed parents were such a scourge on the Black family, why is it that all of the negativity about their arrangement has been focused solely on Palmer's direction? No one ever suggests a pandemic of quote-unquote baby fathers when they see an unmarried Black couple announce a baby. Still, somehow there's always a slew of self-styled online child psychologists waiting in the wings to tell us everything that can go wrong when a Black woman gets pregnant out of wedlock. And suppose there's any doubt in your mind about this bias, in that case, I urge you to look at how concerned everyone is about the welfare of Palmer's unborn child, while Nick Cannon's reckless and unrelenting fathering has become a social media punchline. Okay, pause. Nobody has praised Nick Cannon for what he is doing. Of course, there are people excusing it, but there's also people excusing Kiki Palmer and everyone else. A lot of people defend Black women who are unwed mothers, and a lot of people defended Nick Cannon as well. But I think more people have been dragging him more than anything. But let's continue. It says, the fake concern that people have for women like Palmer who choose to do life on their terms is not only misogynistic, it's also anti-Black. Okay, sorry, I have to stop again. It could be slightly misogynistic, like I can see that, but to say it's anti-Black to caution Black women to have a little bit more stability before they bring in another generation of Black children, I definitely disagree. Continuing, white women who conceive with non-married partners are never told that they'll end up single, nor are they pejoratively called quote-unquote baby moms if their relationships do end. Just look at how differently the world talks about Kylie Jenner and Blac Chyna, two very single mothers in the same extended family. People like Kimora Lee Simmons, J-Lo, and Heidi Klum are also praised for being able to carry out these unconventional relationships with their exes and for being, quote, great at co-parenting. Meanwhile, unmarried Black mothers are consistently looked at with scorn, even when the fathers of their children are still in their lives. Woo, child, there's a lot to unpack here. However, here are my thoughts. First and foremost, I'm against any type of baby mamahood. As much as I love Keke Palmer, even as much as I love Rihanna, I can say I am not a happy camper about their situations. The same way I feel about Rihanna, like I said, Zani Pullins, is the same way I'm going to feel about any other woman who does something like this. That's just how I am. I'm not looking down on you. I'm just saying I do not agree and I don't like it. Second, I think for Essence Magazine to post an article like this is a bit dangerous. I get their point. I really do. Some of their points are facts. There is a difference in perception when Black women do things. However, I do think that it was just very risky to push a narrative, almost saying that being a baby mama should be justified. What I'm going to need Black women to stop doing is using this, but what about Black men line as a cop-out. You can use it as a talking point because it is fair. I think comparing how men are treated and how women are treated, how men are allowed to do things and women are not, all of that is fair to bring up. I do it all the time, but you cannot use that as a cop-out, especially when we're talking about something like childbirth that women are only capable of doing. What the overall issue is with this is exactly what Essence Magazine is talking about, ironically. The perception of when a Black woman is a baby mama is at the lowest tier of embracement. And for that reason, there is little to no reason for Black women to continuously feed into this negative stereotype that doesn't benefit them morally and in many other ways. Yes, everyone is an adult and free to do what they want. That's a given. That is very obvious. But when do we start pushing the idea of Black marriage, Black love that is built on real stability and real commitment, and changing the narrative that we are more than just baby mothers who have children out of wedlock and soak up government resources? You see, for Kiki Palmer and other celebrities, of course, they have the financial privileges to take care of their children if, God forbid, their baby daddy is no longer in the picture or they become the primary parent. But for me and everybody else, you all that are watching and listening, and the average Black girl who isn't the 1%, that's not a luxury that we are embedded in. So when you have all of these examples of Black women further pushing a narrative that is so common within regular people, it doesn't make it any better. Kylie Jenner was dragged for being a baby mama at 19 years old. Jamie Lynn Spears was ruthlessly dragged for being a baby mother at 16 years old. Of course, their perception is a bit different, but I don't think the Kardashians were ever absolved of backlash for having children out of a marriage, let alone with some of the most controversial Black men. Every last one of them were baby mothers, including Kim Kardashian. People act as if Kim Kardashian was married when she had all of her kids, and that is false. Her daughter North was in her and Kanye's wedding pictures. They got married when North was very young, and I don't know why people try to forget that, because a quick Google search can show you that all of the sisters are baby mothers, and they've been called out for it. I think why people have pushback for the Black female baby mama culture is that statistically, we don't benefit from it whatsoever. More Black women die giving birth than any other race, and a lot of that is because medical professionals see a lot of stereotypical situations and use their racial prejudice to hinder or refrain the resources needed to protect pregnant Black women and their babies. And this more times than not happens to Black women who don't have their child's father in the picture, especially when they are young. They always ask about the baby daddy at the OBGYN appointment, and there's a reason for that. So I looked up another article about some of this stuff and the numbers, and it says, relative to white women, Black women have earlier first births, age 21 versus 24, and have larger families, 2.4 versus 2.2, than white women. The teenage pregnancy rate is more than twice as high for Black women, 43.9 per 1,000 people, than for white women, 20.5 for 1,000 people. The Black-white disparities in unintended pregnancies are large. Black women evaluate 69% of their pregnancies as unintended, while the corresponding number for white women is 42%. And the unintended pregnancy rate for Black women is more than double, 92 per 1,000 people, and the rate for white women is 38 per 1,000 people. The abortion rate is more than 3 times higher for Black teens, 44.3 per 1,000 people, than for white teens, 13.8 per 1,000 people. people. Further in the article, it says, in the U.S., Black children grow up with higher rates of teen and single parenthood, and Black children experience more family instability. Furthermore, relative to white women, Black women have earlier sexual debut and use contraception less effectively. Collective socialization theories focused on family and neighborhood role models stress that exposure to these behaviors encourage young people to behave similarly and perhaps even to prefer these behaviors. In addition, young women themselves who have sex and do not use contraception and or experience a pregnancy are likely to become more positive towards those behaviors due to cognitive dissonance, regardless of their attitudes before those experiences. So let me just say this. I am not blaming Kiki Palmer for any of the statistics. Although she technically may add to it to a certain degree, she doesn't all the way fit into any of these numbers due to her fame, her age, and her financial privilege. But like I said, for every Kiki Palmer, for every Rihanna, for every Sony Alpha, there are thousands of young women who suffer a different battle with the same decisions that all of these women are making. And I think the word cognitive dissonance, as used in this article, is the word that I should have been using to explain a lot of the negative things that happens within this generation. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort a person feels when their behavior does not align with their values or beliefs. It can also occur when a person holds two contradictory beliefs at the same time. And I think a lot of what we see is contradictory beliefs. People knowing something is wrong or harmful, or at least can cause some type of detriment to them, but also seeing that it's doable through the avenues of celebrities and influencers and even people outside of their race. What really kills me is the amount of Black women who I guess counter shame the Black women who speak against the idea of baby mama culture. And by counter shame, I mean, of course you're going to be defensive if you fit the narrative. I mean, essentially it's like people are coming for you. But the counter shaming comes in because Black women do receive the harshest moral punishments for the things that everybody is doing. But I think it's because at the end of the day, we suffer the most from the decisions that everyone is doing. The government literally created Section 8 and the child support system and all of these resources just so that they can make Black women believe that they should rely on the government and the government can be their boyfriend and not rely on their child's fathers. People don't want to admit that that's part of the reason why there are so many broken homes in the Black community. And it's crazy because white women are the most reliant on WIC and other government programs. However, look at who is the face of it. So you can say that all of these narratives should be eradicated because we should be able to do as we please, but it's not that simple when for decades this ideology has not served us. I think for Essence magazine to publish an article telling people to get over it is alarming because telling other Black women to shy away from the negative realities of other Black women's choices is not fair. And it's not fair because you can't delegate who gets to represent certain aspects of Black womanhood that may also be negative and then ask for people to nonchalantly react to it. We talk about so many different things in relation to Black women, but there are certain topics that are just way more polarizing and way more detrimental than others. And being a baby mama is definitely up there because it is not surface level. It's way more permanent than a lot of things that we talk about. The only solution to it is not feeding into the stereotype, which seems to be difficult for so many people to abide by. Or even if they were or became a baby mother, it seems difficult for people to say, hey, I made this decision at 16 or 19 or 21 years old, and I'm encouraging y'all not to do the same. I'm glad that a lot of my viewers and subscribers like to hold me accountable because I remember when I talked about Rihanna announcing her pregnancy, I was a bit lax and I didn't really speak much about my dislike of her actions. I didn't really mean to brush it off, but I felt like at that moment I had already said enough about how I feel about baby mama culture for everyone to know that Rihanna was not exempt from my thoughts and opinions on it. And I think what a baby mama really is an unmarried mother. Like, I don't think a divorced woman is classified as a baby mama. If you had your kids within a marriage, even if the marriage fails, I don't think you're a baby mama, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I still wish Kiki Palmer and her boyfriend success and happiness in their union with their new child. But what I want other Black women to take away from all of these examples is that they are the exception to the rule. Their situations are way too different for us to just get over it. And it's way too different for the average person to emulate, and holding Black women accountable for continuing a narrative that does set us back is not wrong, nor is it bashful. Even with Sony Alpha, she's no longer with her child's father, and she was the one saying that, you know, marriage is too much of a commitment for her, but I guess a baby wasn't. And let's be real, y'all, a baby is way more of a commitment than a marriage is. And I called it from the beginning that she was going to eat her words. I hope all of their situations work out, and I hope for Black women all over the world, we begin to understand the benefits of securing stability within marriage before having children. A marriage is not foolproof, and marriages do fail, and yes, some people don't want to be married, but look at the pros and the benefits before you decide otherwise, and then make the decision that will set your children up for the best future. So that is it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please let me know your commentary on my commentary down below. What do you think? What do you know? Let me know. If you haven't already, go stream my song Ballin'. It is out on all platforms. I will link it down below. And don't forget to follow me on all of my social media networks. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.
I ain't tryna wait. Mansion in the motherland, bitch. Leave it by the gate. My brother counting money up, my sis driving the getaway. It's Queen Chioma trigger, cause you know I make it ricochet. Told y'all it's a ceremony, every day a cabaret. Get out my way, I'm out the way. They say I'm out the ordinary. Call my favorite cousins up, they round the way and on the way. Had to come to auntie house, cause last time I did, I said I'ma call them when I need some money. I ain't tryna wait. Mansion in the motherland, bitch. Leave it by the gate. Call my favorite cousins up, they round the way and on the way. Had to come to auntie house, cause last time I did 20K, yo. They don't know who they messing with. I be where the blessings is, my pockets never deficit. You can't touch all this excellence, you gon' need a prerequisite. You gon' need some relevance, so cut it OT Genesis. Pack in the mail,